Atta girl. Rockalina, the little eastern box turtle that spent nearly 50 years living on somebody's kitchen floor after being captured from the wild in 1977, continues to make some progress here at Garden State Tortoise, but with her progress come new challenges, and that's because other issues are being revealed. What's happening with Rockalina is her skin is raw because it's been sloughing off. Now, because of that, she's starting to bleed and the skin is cracking. So we've got to get her to the vet. We've got an appointment later today. You guys are coming with us. But right now what we're doing is we're giving her a little bit of a meal, a nice soft meal, because we're not yet ready to trim her beak. Because her beak is so deformed from growing improperly for so long, we can't just dive into that and trim it. She may always have an open gap there because the jaws don't align perfectly, but we're gonna venture that later at the veterinarian when we bring her in for some treatment for her skin on her back legs. So right now, we're just getting some soft fruit, this banana right here, into her. She's really enjoying it, and you can see just how strong she's getting. She's not only walking, but she is lifting her body, and she is able to eat very soft foods. So this addresses some other things. Rockalina probably never going to be able to live life like a normal box turtle would. And what I mean by that is, box turtles, especially the eastern box turtle, are actually a woodland species. They do move into other habitats, but the vast majority of their lives they spend on the forest floor with thick canopy above them. That's what we've done here for the vast majority of eastern box turtles that call our sanctuary home. And let me show you what it's like. Now, by offering the turtles all the different elements in this enclosure I'm about to show you, you're allowing them to live a natural lifestyle 365 days a year. That means the turtles are in this very pen spring, summer, fall, and winter. And there's a variety of different parts of this habitat that they can use, which create kind of micro habitats. Starting with right here, a little aquascape ecosystem that is essentially a moving stream that the turtles can utilize to drink and even swim in. This might not look like much to you guys, it's just a fallen log or fallen tree, right? But this is something that the turtles will utilize. They'll hide under, they'll even climb all over it. Oh, and by the way, the box turtles that live in this pen, they're in here right now, asleep under all of this leaf litter. Eastern box turtles are never found far from water, so we make sure that they have more than one body of it. This is just a simple, muddy-bottomed, still water pond, and the animals will utilize this especially on really hot summer days where they could just sit in the cool water, in the shade, and avoid the direct sun. But sun is important too. Right now, it's a cold, dreary winter day as some of the snow melts, but in the summer, this place comes to life, and this pen is absolutely stunning. And right here, when all this leaf litter is cleared out, you're looking at the sunny nesting area where the female eastern box turtles will always choose to lay their eggs. So Stevie, the blind male eastern box turtle, is a perfect candidate for an indoor enclosure. And this is because the turtle is blind. He was hatched/born with no eyes, so the turtle cannot see what's going on around him. Even though he has other senses he can rely on to some extent, he can't live with other turtles. That's not to say we can't give him some supervised outdoor time, which is exactly what we're going to be doing with Rockalina, but to put him in a wild type setting like we just showed you guys would just not really benefit this animal. If another turtle were to challenge him, which is very normal and healthy for male box turtles, instinctually Stevie might know how to stand up for himself, but it would not be a fair fight, and why would we want to put him in that kind of situation? So he's got this massive, well-designed indoor toad ranch enclosure, and if you go back into our playlists, you can see just how we put together all these amazing indoor units from them. This one is perfect for Stevie, and it's been decorated naturally, so the turtle is still on a naturalistic substrate. He's got foliage, logs, plenty of places to explore, including water, and he's also got the appropriate lighting. So again, we could give him some outdoor supervised time, and we absolutely will, but this is the kind of setup that Stevie needs to live in. It's what's best for him. And as far as indoor keeping goes and kind of isolating certain turtles depending on their needs, well, there's somebody else that has completely different needs that I'm going to show you. Behold, the most active box turtle you will ever see. One that craves the utmost attention. For those of you who have been following us for a long time, you know who this guy is. This is Otis, the eastern box turtle, but there's a lot of new followers from the last couple of videos, so if you don't know who he is, well, here he is. Otis's needs completely exceed all the other box turtles, and not because he is challenged in any way in terms of neglect or, being blind or anything like that, but nobody really knows what's going on inside this turtle's head. He doesn't really act much like a turtle, he acts more like a dog. He does have quite the level of aggression in him, and in fact, he absolutely despises other turtles. And I'm not talking like I was saying with Stevie, where males will do a nice healthy combat, especially over territory or females. This turtle absolutely despises his own kind, and he will stop at nothing to attack any and all other turtles. But when it comes to people, he is unbelievably interactive, and this turtle is actually a little bit of an animal actor, where we've been able to recreate famous monster movie scenes because this turtle never shuts down. He never uses his hinge on his plastron to close up. He's always out of his shell. He will chase us, he will bite us, he will climb on us, and he is the ultimate educational ambassador because it doesn't matter how many miles we travel, I'm talking over 2,000 miles, this turtle is always ready to help us with a wonderful presentation on turtles and tortoises and other reptiles. So Otis cannot live in that situation out there with those wild type box turtles. Instead, he occupies our nature center reptile building here, where he has a massive enclosure all to himself and a pond that he loves to dirty up within seconds. And we get to do a lot of awesome work with this turtle. He is quite famous, and I think he knows it too. All right, so now that we've gone over quite a bit about box turtle care and care in general for these animals, the main part of what we're doing today is getting not just Rockalina, but another animal of ours over to our veterinarian. Now, you all know what's going on with Rockalina, but this tortoise right here, which is an Armenian tortoise, one of the Greek tortoises, has a swollen rear left leg. No idea why. Could be a simple injury from a male pursuing her, or it could be something else. We don't take any chances here, so since we're already going in, she's coming with us so that Dr. Lambert can take a look. The main thing, though, that we're going to be doing with Rockalina is, of course, getting some ointment for her back legs to help heal that skin, but also we're going to take a close look at her beak to see if we can do anything about it. So I'm bringing my trusty little Dremel to see if we can start shaping it. But guys, I got to tell you right off the bat here, I don't know how this is going to go. Rockalina, again, is a very severe case of a turtle that is suffering some pretty bad deformities. So her beak isn't just simply overgrown, it's completely deformed. And what we have to watch out for is if we shape it the wrong way and it continues to grow, we might end up with bigger problems. Doesn't matter the type of turtle, this is how the skull and jaws are supposed to work. There's supposed to be an overbite. That hook is supposed to come down and the bottom jaw is supposed to fit in there. This is how these animals function. This is how they bite pieces off of their food. They also use their mouths for other reasons, obviously. But if we shape this thing wrong, this already deformed beak can end up like this, or like this. There's all kinds of things that could go wrong. So we're going to try to shape it as best as we can, but again, baby steps, little bit at a time. We may do some today, we may not do anything at all, but if we do, it's probably just gonna be a little bit. We'll do a little bit at a time. Enough of that, let's get on over there and see what we're up against. Hello. Hello. Okay, so she's got a swollen back leg, and I've seen this happen before. I don't know what the cause is, but I wanted to catch it before it gets any worse. Mm-hmm. So it's this leg. Yep. It's definitely tender and swollen compared to this leg, and she's definitely doesn't like putting weight on. Right, okay. So the males have been chasing them around, so I don't know if one rammed her and if there's anything going on in there. Okay. But I also don't know if there's something bacterial going on, and I don't know. But you know, how's she eating? She eats like a pig. Okay. You know. What's up, you? Then you can always have a Alyssa come home, or you kind of keep an eye on it together. Yeah, I could definitely. I mean, she's still pushing with it there. Mm-hmm. Good. We'll see her walk in a second. I mean, I don't feel any obvious fractures when I'm palpating. I mean, good normal range of motion there. It's just tough. Like, so, is it soft? The question is it just soft tissue swelling, or is there like a small fraction there? Let's see her walk there. Let's see. What she does. She's probably gonna slip a little. Yeah. Good. Let's see. I'm curious what she. Yeah. Let's see if we get that.
Yeah, you can see she's not extending that back left one as much as she's pushing that back right one. Yeah, I mean, I think what we should probably do is probably get an X-ray of it there, just see if we have any orthopedic changes. If not, then potentially just like a course of like anti-inflammatories potentially in case it is some swelling. But let's see, because the skin itself doesn't look like there's any penetration, any wounds that would make me think like a bacterial infection at this stage there. But I think let's get some X-rays, see what we get, and then we'll go from there.
Okay, cool.
Go ahead. No, you're fine.
And then we'll get a weight on her. 2.4 gigs. To check, just do like a single view DV if you want to get that set up there. All right, how's Rockalina?
She's doing great. So far, so good. But this is what I wanted you to take a look at. Was all this.
Yeah.
How raw her skin is. I'm worried about that getting infected because she was so dried out when we first got her, and then with all the continuous soaks, her color and everything came back, and she got bright-eyed, but the skin sloughed off, and now she's very tender. So I'm nervous about infection, even being on the antibiotic.
The foot looks, I mean, it's smaller than the other ones, but it still looks vital, though, to me, the foot. I mean, it's surprising. I wonder if it just had poor vascularization there for a while, but, like, the skin just... Is she doing better in the soaks as well?
Yeah, I mean, she's really, like... She's very strong. She's lifting her body. She can't put much on that, weight on that back
one
foot.
there. When we said her bones are all kind of wonky in that thing, but
she's eating. She loves her soaks. She's been very perky. I mean, look at how bright-eyed she is. When you first saw her, she couldn't open her eyes at all.
No. And like I said, we treated with some vitamin A there because I wonder if that's why this excessive shedding, or still her vitamin A levels aren't adequate. But now you guys got her on a better diet, so. But yeah, I mean. I think the S is the topical at this point. The leg's not overly swollen compared to the other one there. I think if we kind of continue with it, and the hope is she'll shed this through.
Okay.
I mean, I agree that the foot looks viable to me there.
Okay. And we trimmed her front nails.
I see that, yeah.
But so what are you thinking? An ointment or a cream for
Yeah, that's what I think. Yeah, we do like an SSD cream. That usually is a good topical antimicrobial there.
Okay.
Keep the soaks going, but I think it's just extra skin. I mean, it looks a little red, but like underneath there's not puffy. I mean, compared to the other foot. Cool. I'm actually pretty happy with that.
That's awesome.
Yeah, wow. It's impressive there.
I know, right? So the other reason we're here is because we got to start figuring out how to address her beak.
Yep.
But I was reaching out to Karen from Turtle Rescue in the Hamptons, and she's done a million of these, and she was advising, which Casey had also brought up already too, that we should just do a little bit at a time, because if we do too much and the bottom jaw doesn't fit into the top jaw, we're going to end up with more problems down the road, and that we're probably always going to have some kind of gap there.
Yeah, she's always going to have that malocclusion because her beak, not coming to the normally. It's just the way it's growing. It's never going to make nice contact like you normally would. So yeah, you're basically, I mean, she's adapted to eating, but agree, like I would think we got to trim the margins first, like get that margin down a little bit on each side, and then try to bring that upper beak down a little bit there. But I think it's more that lower beak that sticks out further. But yeah, that's one thing I think, like a little bit of time there. I mean, she's eating so well with it. I mean, she adapted to it. I mean, they're truly, it's not a normal beak, and she'll never be a normal beak there. Right. But I think if we can bring...
I'm thinking like starting with the lower jaw right here. So that at least the lower jaw fits a little bit more, and again with that contact with the upper jaw. But like right here, where that's protruding, that bottom jaw, I'm thinking that's where we need to start, is to get that clipped or dremeled down.
Yeah, I would use Dremel, like if they make like the small conical burrs, we can try to do that later on there, and bring it down, and then like I said, bring it on this side, I try to bring that side up a little bit to make, because it looks like on the right side the bottom's growing over, and on the left side the top's coming over that. Yep.
Okay.
All right. So basically we've got the X-ray there. They took it. We got an answer. There's a small fracture in one of the small bones.
No kidding.
Yeah, I'm gonna show you guys. So we'll pull this up here.
Wow.
We had to do a little finagling to get the leg, but that's why it's swollen there.
Wow, look at that.
Yeah. So at first, like when we did the X-ray, like it was hard because she was all tucked up there.
Yeah.
And it's hard because you have the shell, the bony overlay of the shell, and so it's hard to quite see. And so we think a little bit of just gentle traction on her, just a little bit, just to kind of get her out of her shell. We really get that image here, and then we're gonna zoom on in.
Oh, I can see it.
Yeah, you guys can see basically
right there.
Right there.
It's fractured. Wow. Okay.
Yeah, it's minimally displaced. Like it's still like they're in the same vicinity of each other there. The main big bone, the tibia, looks to be nice and intact there. You can trace here's your femur. That looks good. Your tibia looks okay.
Okay.
And then you have your fibula. I mean, options would be trying to splint it, but it's hard with these guys because they tuck up in the shell to keep something stabilized.
Right.
My hope is if we can rest her and do anti-inflammatories, that we'll be able to get this to heal by secondary intention there.
Okay.
We got to keep her on soft padded area, so she doesn't put a lot of pressure on it to let the bony callus heal. They said some anti-inflammatories, some pain medication, and then the hope is we get that to heal. And we'll recheck X-rays probably like 4 to 6 weeks from now to kind of see the progress there.
Okay, so we'll keep her separated for now on soft surface, and we're gonna do anti-inflammatory and pain meds. Is that what you said?
Yep.
Okay. Cool.
Yeah, no indication, like I said, for anti-inflammatory. Like it doesn't look like the bone is like lice. So you think about like an infection of the bone. And truly, just given the history, it sounds like trauma. Given the skin itself, it's there, but somebody probably ran right at the middle of that bone there, and
wow.
So yeah, we got an answer as to why the swelling's there.
Sure.
So I say let's start treating supportively and see if we get her feeling at any point. If we're not, then we got to talk about how we get this to stabilize it. But I think it's that's a
well,
journey
nobody
itself.
stabilizes it in the wild for them, right?
Correct.
Okay, so we got answers, which is nice. Nothing mysterious. We do have a fracture in this rear leg, and we're going to get that taken care of. Just to go over this real quick, we work with a lot of different turtle and tortoise species at Garden State Tortoise. The list goes on and on and on. These Armenian tortoises are a rarity. They might look familiar to some of you. They are part of the Spurthai or Greek tortoise family, which is Testudo graeca. These are Testudo graeca armeniaca. So you don't see too many of these guys. They're absolute bulldozers. They can be pretty aggressive, and they shell ram. They do that for territorial displays, and the males do that during breeding. So it's possible that this lady just got rammed at the right moment in the right spot, and unfortunately she's now suffering a fracture. But this is what we do. You got to keep tabs on your animal. You got to intervene as quickly as possible if you notice a problem. So that's that. Rockalina is good. We're going to put some SSD cream on her, and we're going to start taking our time chipping away at that beak. I'm not going to do anything to her today because she's already gone through enough having to go for yet another car ride. So let's get these two home. We're going to start her care so that we can get that leg healed. Rockalina is kicking butt here, and thank you guys so much for rooting for her.